Hello and welcome back to the third segment of our four-segment session this morning. This is the Florida Aviation Network, and my name is Ron Timmerman. I'm one of the many hosts for the Florida Aviation Network. We're delighted that you have joined us today. We're broadcasting live and in the clear from our studios in Oviedo, Florida. It's good to have you with us, and I'm sure you've enjoyed the first couple of sections with Mr. Bob Jex as the presenter, and we've got two more interesting sections for you today. It's good to have you with us. We have a number of folks here in our studio audience, and I want to welcome you as well. I see some new faces out there, Elena, Elizabeth, Susan, several other folks. And we got some great staff that are helping here today, some of our interns and seasoned Florida Aviation Network folks manning the cameras, doing the floor managing and the like. It takes a village of a whole bunch of people to put this together and to pull off this this great presentation that we hope you're enjoying. So I've got a guest now that we're going to interview this morning, one that I've known for a good while. His name is John Tenney, but there's a whole lot about John Tenney that you probably haven't learned before. John, welcome. It's good to have you here. Merry Christmas, John. Are you in the Christmas season?
I am in the spirit.
I think you were in the spirit. It looks like it. You're looking great. You're looking great. Well, as a way of introducing John, let me just tell you that he's got a very interesting and long career in aviation. He's been a pilot since 1985 when he learned to fly, I guess, with the Civil Air Patrol, but he has also been a flight instructor, a ground instructor, charter pilot, corporate pilot, 7 years as an airline pilot, and he's got a bunch of type ratings in the Beech 1900 and a Canadair. He's also flown a 737-800 as a first officer for Midway Airlines. Lots of work. He's also got a lot of experience as a simulator instructor with the likes of flight safety and other simulators. He has his own company, Experienced Pilots Services. Among other things that they provide is simulator training in his office near Executive Airport. All this experience in some 9,000 hours of flight time, he still humbly says, I am a student pilot. Meaning, I'm sure, John, that there's more for you and me to learn, even though we've got a bunch of hours of experience,
well,
and that's great.
I take my cue from you, Ron. I always introduce myself as a student pilot.
That's good. I think that's an important thing to do, that recognize that the next hour of flying is the most important one from a safety aspect. Speaking of safety, John has been involved in aviation safety almost since the beginning of his flying career. He was one of the original, what did we call him back then, accident prevention counselors when he first got involved with the FAA as a volunteer. He was recruited by the late Larry Enlow, Obie Young in the early 90s. He transitioned to then a new title, Aviation Safety Counselor, and now most recently he's been named a FAASTeam, FAA Safety Team representative, or FAASTeam representative. And in that role, he hosts a wings seminar once each month on the first Wednesday of each month at Orlando Executive Airport, of a venue he calls Hangar Talk. Hangar Talk, and it's he'll tell you in a minute about how it's organized, but a large group of pilots come in and they like to be able to voice their opinion and their thoughts on various topics. So John picks a topic for the month, and then everyone comes armed with their thoughts on that, and they get an opportunity to share it. Everyone in the room at Hangar Talk gets a chance to voice their thoughts, their opinions, their insights. And I've been to a number of them, and there's always something that I learned coming away from them. So that's what you have right now, John, is Hangar Talk on a monthly basis, but your effort in doing this started way back, like in the 90s, didn't it?
Yeah, before going to that, I've never heard anyone pronounce the G in hangar before. That's a new one for me. Do you mind? This is warm.
Would you take that off, John, please? And unmust your
I can
hair
put it on later. Oh,
Fix
no,
your
it's
hair.
better
Good.
that way.
John, tell us about the early days of your aviation safety career.
Well, in the 90s, it was an impromptu thing. We just used to sit around the FBO on lousy weather mornings waiting for the fog to lift. And we'd be drinking coffee and talking about what we went on this week, what happened, this happened to me, there I was, that kind of talk. And I liked it.
There I was.
Yeah, there I was, flat on my back, the usual hangar story. And there was Hangar Talk. It got to be a regular thing, and Bruce Campbell, who was alive at the time, was my mentor, and he started actually asking people to be there. And eventually, when Sheltair took over for Executive Air Center and they moved to what's now the Northern Jet building, he kept it going in there Friday mornings. They had a coffee meeting. Yeah, Bruce did. And I left aviation for a while. I took about 10 years off. And when I came back, Bruce had passed on and there was no one doing it. And I just wanted to have a bull session with my pilot friends. So I put a thing out on the Facebook, the Orlando Pilots Group, said, hey, let's meet for a pilot bull session hangar talk on a Friday night. And one guy showed up, Nate Ritter. He is the inaugural hangar talk attendee, I guess you call it. And I thought, well, okay. And we were talking about how to use ForeFlight. And here I was ready to teach him how to use ForeFlight. He knew it way better than me.
Did he?
He taught me how to use ForeFlight.
I'm always humbled by that, too. I think I found something new in ForeFlight, and I show it to someone, and they go, oh, yeah, I've known that a long time.
So next week there was no one. The next month there was no one, and then it grew like 3, 5, 7. And here's a picture from our last meeting at Sheltair. As you can see, there's easily 20 people in that room. There's probably people that didn't quite make it in the picture. There's a lot of people who are in the studio right now who are in that picture. So it was good to see that that's you standing up in the back.
It is,
yeah.
it is. I was monitoring, I was counting. I think I counted 28 that night, John.
Yeah, it was pretty
a large
big.
group.
It's gotten to the point now where we outgrew that conference room. Sheltair said, you're too big for us. So we went back to Atlantic, and we're using the big room in Atlantic.
So we're at the Atlantic FBO now on a regular basis?
Yeah, every first Wednesday, there's a good shot of the Christmas party. And I want to make a disclaimer. There is alcohol on the table that was not provided. Okay, it was not provided by the FAA or me. That was brought by people who were there.
I think it was there before you got there that night.
It was, yes,
okay.
It was there. We had nothing. We are not serving beverages. In fact, that big bottle of whiskey was Obi's. So,
John,
I'm going to get him in trouble now.
The learning happened and the safety meeting continued on. So let's go on with that.
Yeah, the first hour we went into winter flying. And what's the difference, in our winter flying techniques? And especially winter flying in Florida is probably what, I know Dr. Burrow's going to do that next month. And we're going to follow after him to do a discussion to carry on from his presentation. So probably February we'll be doing winter flying. And I mentioned Dr. Burrow because initially Obi and several other people said, let's make this a wings program. It was never my intention. It was just a place to get together and talk to pilots. But I said, okay, what do we got to do? And Dr. Burrow came in and said, well, you don't have a format. I said, no, I don't really want a format. And he said,
that's the whole idea behind your concept.
Yeah, he said, how can we make this work? And we went back and forth several times and finally came up with something that was not only acceptable to him, but also acceptable to the program manager, which is we have a topic, but we do go around the room and we ask every person, say your name, where are you in your aviation career, and what's your take on the topic? And believe it or not, everything gets covered. I think you and I were talking beforehand and said the true value of Hangar Talk is that you hear other people's perspectives and other people's ideas. So you're not just learning from yourself, you're learning from everybody in the room. And we can learn from people of any level of experience.
Yeah, what I found when I've attended, John, a topic that is of interest to me, and they almost always are, I'll pick up a nugget or a tidbit from what someone said, and I think, I didn't think about it that way before. Or one of those totally aha moments, I better understand that now based on what someone else has said. And it's just informal, and it's just a way of conversing with each other. It's a great format.
It gets a little spirited sometimes.
Well, that's
too.
Good, though. That's the way pilots are. We're all type A personalities.
We've had pilots have difference of opinions on certain things. I can see people laughing. You know what I'm thinking about. Yes, we actually got the FAA to issue a rule-making clarification on what the upwind leg is in an uncontrolled airport.
Yeah.
Because we had a big discussion over that, and there was everybody chiming in, well, this is what the AIM says, well, this is what another page of the AIM says, and the FAA noticed that, we have a contradiction, and they cleared it up for us.
That's
so
good.
I feel we contributed.
Indeed, we did. Well, that's great. That's great. So do we know or even care which is the upwind leg now? It's the one that's aligned with the runway from which you're taking off.
I think that's it. The upwind leg is when you're heading upwind, and it's a departure leg also.
Yeah.
But somebody was claiming, no, there's a parallel leg opposite the downwind leg where you're entering the pattern by going on the upwind leg, then the crosswind, then the downwind. It makes sense, but I'd never heard of it before.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was
good. We
something
got that
new.
clarified. Issue settled.
Yeah.
That's good. On to next topics. All right. So let's see. You talked about the very beginning back in the early 2000s.
90s, actually.
90s,
Started
yeah.
the 90s.
Yeah. And then, so now this informal hangar talk, you submit a SPANS notice for a draft SPANS notice, and generally it gets approved for your topic. And then the people that come to the Hangar Talk Wing Seminar actually get knowledge credits for attending. Is that correct?
In fact, usually we get 2.
Uh-huh.
Because it's
Because
a 2-hour.
it's a 2-hour session.
Then the FPMs have been very helpful. Randy, who's, like I said, doing something else now, but he called me up one day. He goes, "Are you sure you want to do this topic?" And it was a topic that could be very controversial. And I said, "Well, why are you asking me?" He says, "Well, just check." And I called some people who were coming, and I discussed the topic with them. And I, like, gosh, everybody had like an axe to grind on. It was like special issuance medicals or something like that. And it was, I said, "No, we're not doing this topic." I could see we'd be there all night.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a balance between a little bit of controversy and keeping the peace.
Yeah. Some controversy can be beneficial. I would agree.
There are several good groups in the Orlando area. Like Thursday night, Dr. Burrow does a good interactive situation where you get into groups and work out problem solving.
Yeah, I've
which
noticed
I like.
that.
That's a good one. And then your old group, or I guess you've handed it off to Brent up at Sanford, the IMC Club. That's a combination of lecture and discussion. Mm-hmm. That's sort of a hybrid between the old way and the Hangar Talk way, which is nothing but discussion, which I call just barely organized chaos. But it works.
Well,
like I said, all of them work.
I don't want people to think that it is chaotic in any way. It is spirited discussion where everyone at Hangar Talk gets a chance to offer their opinion, their insights, and there are nuggets of useful information in there, and that really has been good.
It is.
Dr. Bro, on his Orlando Executive Airport, second Thursday of the month, I think it is?
Second Thursday.
Yeah. So he has morphed his presentations now where he gives a lecture presentation generally on the GAJSC topic of the month, and then he will design discussion exercise problems and break the audience into multiple groups.
Yeah.
Have a group discussion with that small group, and then all present their thoughts and their findings on what they discussed in their small group. And that has been beneficial as well, because not only do you get the interaction of the folks within your small group, but you get to hear what the other group's responses are to it. And so again, you know, there's multiple ways we can learn, but the more we're exposed to a learning environment, the better we are. And so there's formats for you, wherever you are at in your aviation career. There's ways that you can learn, and the wing seminars are great ways to do it. And you get wings credits, and if you get 3 knowledge credits, John, and 3 flight activities, what does that earn?
It's a phase.
A phase of wings, which is good to show for your insurance company and say, hey, I am doing my best to become or remain a proficient pilot.
I think it was Obi who said, if you're in an accident or an incident and the FAA looks at your record and they see you've been to a lot of wings activities, well, that's going to look a lot better than someone who has no wings activity at all. So I agree with that. But yeah, it makes you a better pilot. Another thing is we do have a Facebook group, and I know that social media is very controversial, but if you can stand a private group on Facebook, it's called Central Florida Aviation Safety Hangar Talk, or CFL Aviation Safety Hangar Talk. And that's where our best fights go on. The upwind leg kept us busy, kept us entertained for a long time, things like that. But also we plan our schedules. This was sort of a Hangar Talk. This is not on our script, so I'm going off the reservation here. But at the last GAA awards meeting, where a number of us got recognized, I was CFI of the Year again. But afterwards, they decided to roast me. And one of the guys, Alfonso, he had created a video using AI of Donald Trump talking about me. And it was surprisingly accurate and hysterical. at the same
I'll be
time.
darned.
It's on that Facebook group. If you go look there,
I will look at that.
there's a
this
lot of
afternoon.
entertainment,
That'll
and
be
we
good.
also share a lot of, like I learned about flying from that story.
Yeah.
That was, now back in the day, there were two main aviation magazines that I remember. There was Flying and AOPA Pilot. And Flying, I think, I learned about flying from that, right? The article on the inside of the last page. And so AOPA Pilot had another article on the inside of their last page, which was called Never Again. I may have them reversed.
Whatever.
I'm not sure, but those are the stories that make Hangar Talk great, because people tell their own stories about, hey, I got in a situation, and obviously I got out of it, I'm here, but now you can all learn from my mistakes in getting in that situation, because I believe that we learn by failing and surviving. And so why not let everybody else learn from our mistakes?
And if we fail and don't survive, then other people learn from it. I'd rather the first.
I'd rather not talk about it.
Yeah, indeed. Well, John, you mentioned one of the topics that Hangar Talk had. What are some of the other topics that have been popular and been a big discussion item in the last few months? Do you recall any other topics?
Oh yeah, stabilized approaches was a good one. It's like, at what point do you have to abandon an approach that you don't think is stabilized? And we started talking about visual descent points. There are some people that think a visual descent point is a missed approach point. And I know this is getting in deep, for professional pilots and instrument approaches, but we were looking at JEP charts and everything. Well, for flight now,
Yeah.
discussing that got pretty heavy. One really good one we had was aircraft ownership, what you need to know before you buy a plane.
Oh, that was good. I remember I came to
you were
that
at
one.
that
Yeah.
one, yeah. And that was, you guys were still talking. It was after 9 o'clock, and you're all still talking. I'm like, let's go to Smoky Bones. And no, everybody wanted to keep talking.
Yeah.
'Cause
We actually, at that time, we had a couple of brand new aircraft owners. Susan, I remember, was telling about her experience. And she was probably going, maybe I should have gone to this before I bought the airplane, but it was good. And then several people who didn't own an airplane but were expecting perhaps to buy one, it was great insights for them. They could say, I really do think there's important in having a pre-purchase inspection. Here's some of the things that I'd want my mechanic to look at so I don't experience a gotcha after I have the ownership of the airplane and the like.
There was a CPA there too.
Oh, that's right.
And he started talking about the tax advantages of owning an airplane, and boy,
Indeed.
everybody lit up.
Yeah,
I learned something.
Yeah, I think we all did. So that was good. And this is just random people that came in to attend the session. The variety of opinions and experience level that you have there just really adds to the benefit of it.
I wouldn't call it random. It's kind of a community now.
Well, it is. You've
got your core that are there every month.
Yeah.
And then the other people would come in and go like, hey, I want to be in this club.
Yeah.
How do I join this club?
So the Facebook page that you mentioned, now that isn't
a group.
Group,
Private
right?
group.
Yeah, I said club. So that you don't get wings credit for that. You only get wings credit when you
Haven't figured
sign
out how to
for it.
do that yet.
Yeah, well, I don't know that you're ever going to get that, but good luck on that. But when you come to the actual Hangar Talk session, you get wings credit for that.
Yes.
The social media thing is just to continue to expound on what you think is
Builds the
important.
community.
Indeed, it does. And it is a tight-knit group.
But it's open.
Yeah.
Anybody's welcome.
Yeah.
It's not a clique or anything like that. Anybody can come in there and immediately feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
do you
what
ever
I
have
like about
do you ever have airline pilots come to the Hangar Talk?
Couple, two, three. Yeah,
Yeah.
a few airline pilots come in there and give their opinions once in a while.
Do you think they learn anything from the GA pilots that are
Oh,
there?
definitely.
Yeah.
Had one guy come in. I won't mention Jordan Anderson's name here.
Good, because that wouldn't be nice.
He had his opinions on who's allowed to call the go-around.
Oh.
Because he thought as any pilot is allowed to click the mic and say, we're going around, and then we're going around. And I said, oh, no. You can do that maybe, but we're going to have a come to Jesus meeting afterwards. That's whoever's flying. The flying pilot needs to make this. And we went into all that, like who makes safety decisions and things like that.
And cockpit management as well?
Oh, CRM. Oh, yeah, so that's not so critical. It actually is critical, but it doesn't appear to be as critical for a general aviation pilot. But when we get in,
oftentimes we're flying by ourselves or being the only certified pilot in the aircraft.
you still need to be CRM if
Yeah.
you need to have your organization, your plans, your checklist usage. When we talk about CRM and when the airline pilots come in, they can share all that to pilot experience. So that's really good. So that's one part. Yes, the airline pilots definitely contribute, and some of them have gone away with a takeaway. And I do ask at the end of each session, let's go around the room. Somebody give me a takeaway. What did you take away from today? And I do that to enhance retention, because it increases retention of what you heard by 50%. I've learned that from my sales training career.
I also find that this person's retention is a little bit different than mine.
Yeah.
And that other person on the other side of the room, he or she found something of interest that I didn't even, it just passed me right by. So it's a good way, it's a good review when you do that takeaways. Those are
because you can't
beneficial
learn
ones.
everything in the sim.
Exactly.
But we do have pictures
Speaking of
of
the sim.
you in the sim.
Oh, really?
actually.
Have I been in your
And
sim, John?
I know that our producer's dying to show some of them. So
Well, let's talk a little bit about sim training, because you've been doing that a lot. You do that frequently with pilots in all levels of aircraft. What all sims? Here's a picture of John's sim that they're going to put up in the picture in just a bit, and someone there. So it's all computer-based. You got a big old computer on the side there that runs a
this
couple
is Michael Hale is sitting at the controls. He's our diamond expert, and Jaime is over. Jaime Hernandez is one of my instructors, and he and I are working out how to teach this is a DA-42. 40, DA-40, the single engine.
Okay.
So we're teaching that. And I believe that there's Richard Thomas, who's not here today, but that's him. He just finished his Baron training with me. And you can see it's the same sim, but different airplane.
Yeah.
That's one of the, if you look at the levers, he just did an engine out. You can see that left engine's feathered there.
Yeah.
So, and
Well, he's on the
landed
ground.
safely.
He's on the ground.
And I think I recognize this guy. This is Smooth Ron. Flying it was a G36.
G36, yeah.
Bonanza, and then we were working on what the visuals look like at low visibility.
Indeed,
there.
I'm preparing a presentation, and I needed some
There's
pictures.
a very
of,
blurry selfie by me.
yeah, a handsome guy there on the left.
So this was fun. We had all the interns from the Florida Aviation Network.
The folks that help us out here today?
Yeah, one of our grips is on the controls right there. That's Autumn flying. And Kaylee's next to her saying, I'm going to do better as soon as I'm up. Because that's what she wanted to do. And she was just disappointed that she didn't nail the landing. But what amazed me about these three girls who did the sim, all three of them landed without crashing.
Really? Wonderful.
And nobody does that.
Way to go, Kaylee.
The first
Way to
time
go,
on the
Autumn.
sim, everybody crashes. And all three of them landed without any damage to the aircraft. It was a great landing. Not only could you walk away, you could use the plane again.
Those are important parts of a landing. You're exactly right. Well, John, what do you think is beneficial about simulator training that you can't get in the cockpit?
Well, if you see this one, this is the Phenom 300, which is one of my more complicated planes. And you see I've got several different avionics options displayed up there. Their basic G1000, well, it's the G3X, and then there's the G750, so I can have people experiment with different things. What they can learn in the sim is they can take their time and learn the avionics, learn how it works inside and out. We can always pause and go like, this is how you would do that. You would do this. And of course you can do failures, which is what the insurance companies like. You know, we're actually doing engine failures and system failures, and so people can learn how to handle an actual failure. Explosive decompression, for example, something like that, do an emergency descent. The simulator just adds so many things that you would not want to do in the airplane, or you wouldn't have time to do.
Yeah. And if you make a mistake in the sim, John, then what?
So far, nobody's broken it, so I couldn't fix it.
And nobody dies.
Not yet.
That's
John, the day is young.
I don't think that's going to happen in the sim. No, that's great. So, yeah, that's what I find really beneficial in the sim. You can make a mistake, and you can instantly learn from it. You can back it up and do it again and learn what you made a mistake at and what's going to happen, what can happen better.
Here's one of my students. This is great. You're going to fly with Zach next month.
I am.
And in that plane, I believe, too, that's the 210.
No, I'm going to be in his...
He was letting me fly that plane around so much, people were thinking it was my plane. They walked up to him when he was flying, like, hey, what are you doing in John's 210? That was funny. And
That's good.
Actually, I've got the hat on for his Baron. If you fly the P Baron, that's the hat. He has hats for his planes.
Good.
I like aircraft owners like that.
That is good. So Zach has a number of airplanes, that Cessna 210 and the 58P, the P Baron.
RV-10.
Baron. And an RV-10 as well.
It's almost done.
Yeah.
And somewhere in a hangar in Ukraine is an Arrow that is in pieces because it got hit by a missile.
Oh, not good. So he's going to piece that one back together. Huh? That's good. Well, back to simulators again. So you got simulators of all kinds to include a King Air, I believe, and you do training. You do training in King Airs,
train.
in Pilatus.
Yeah, King Air and Pilatus. There's probably some more pictures of this King Air in here, I think,
But
where I actually do in-flight, because I do both. I do the simulator and in the aircraft. Because, and the insurance companies love that. This is Challenger 605. I just decided to sit in the back and look like I was rich for a minute.
yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. When you are rich, John, will you take me a ride in the Challenger?
Sure,
that's
yeah. I'm just going to write a check for that.
Let's see, you're a flight instructor.
Yes.
Are you a pretty intelligent one?
I mean, I don't own an airplane?
Well, I was just wondering if you ever thought you could, answer questions from an envelope, with the answers in the envelope.
Oh, Karnak. Yes.
Karnak.
Well, this is
you've been Karnak?
This is a picture. Yes, this is. I was answering random flight instructor questions here.
I see.
And in the goofy hat to the left of me is my partner Eric, who was handing me the envelopes, and these were flight instructor questions. We had a little fun.
Did that Johnny Carson impression? That's good. That's good. There's all kinds of ways to learn, and so this is good. So back to the simulators again. So you've got simulators for G1000 panels. I saw G3X panels, Bonanza, Baron, Pilatus, King Air. What else do you have? Diamonds. I saw. Phenom.
Diamond, Cessna, of course.
Yeah.
All the Cessnas.
So almost regardless of whatever someone flies, they can probably get some simulator training from you at a reasonable
Well, the
rate.
nice thing about it is X-Plane 12, and there's a community out there. If I just post out on the forums like, hey, I need such and such a plane, after a certain amount of time, someone's going to go, here, I got one for you. I made it for
good.
you. Yeah.
Good.
So that's where I get, and they're not terribly expensive. Like the most expensive one I paid for so far is the King Air 350, and the software was $50.
Wow.
So
that's a bargain. And then you can modify it and use it however you want with training other pilots. That's great. That's great. So simulators, a great opportunity for you and me to learn at a lesser cost than actually flying the airplane. And you can make mistakes that are not fatal, and then you can learn from them and become a better pilot in what you do. And
you can learn the panel too. That's another thing. Is like when I first take someone flying, I'll take them somewhere for lunch or something, and make sure they just don't get sick. They can handle the bumps.
Yeah.
And if they can handle the bumps, then I'll just put them in the sim and I'll let them learn the 6-pack. How to start the engine, how to taxi, how to talk on the radio.
Yeah.
Save them a lot of money.
Yeah, some of the basic things. So it's great to be able to do some simulator training or to get flight instruction in your airplane or a rented airplane. And so John is one of those, a longtime flight instructor, one who is still learning, as we all should be, humble pilots, and continue to learn. So, once a month, you can attend Hangar Talk.
First Wednesday.
First Wednesday of the month?
First Wednesday of every month, unless it's a holiday like 4th of July. We don't do it then.
Of course not, right. But there's other things to do then. So lots of opportunities. And if you're interested in FAASTeam work or being a rep or a service provider, talk with John or me. We can get you lined up with the FAA folks that will help you move into those positions and the like. John, Merry Christmas to you. You can put your hat on when you leave again. And it's been good learning.
It's hot under the lights up here.
It's been good learning more about John Tenney and your illustrious career of more than 30, 40 years in aviation. It
My
is 40
life
years
in
now.
22 minutes.
Well,
Yes.
something like that, but it's a summary. Yeah, good. So we're about to wrap up here, and I'm sure you're interested in wings credits. So when we go to a black screen, you're going to see credits roll, and at the very end of the credits, there will be a code number for you to input for your wings credit. For the Florida Aviation Network, I'm Ron Timmerman. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned. There's another episode coming for the Florida Aviation Network. Thanks for joining us today.